Okay, so I'm just gonna give y'all like a quick little rundown of Candy's ski trip. Now, I've watched the first 3 episodes. I believe it's been 3 episodes, and I'm just gonna give a quick review on everything. Basically, Candace, from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, she's going on a ski trip. She's in went to Colorado, and she took her mama. Bad decision. She took her two aunts. Semi bad, but decision. She took her turn up cousin, pork and weenies. Mmm, child. You saw how that turned out. She took Don Juan. She took Karma. She of course took Riley. She of course took Todd and Todd's daughter Kayla, and also the sisters, old lady gang, their brother, so her uncle, and they invited Todd's family, his aunt and uncle and brother, I believe. That's it from Todd's folks, besides Kayla. Um, and so they're in Colorado and everything. And first of all, it was a big issue with the whole hotel arrangement, the bedroom arrangement, because they had the two aunties, Aunt Nora and Bertha. They were all the way down the street from where everybody else was. So it was Kandi, Todd. They had their own suite. Then I think it was Kayla and Riley. Then Don Juan and Karma had their own suite, and then the aunts and Park and Winnie's was off to the side way down there, and it was, of course, snow and ice and all that, and Aunt Nora was 73 years old, so I completely understand. So they sat down, they had a big issue, and Winnie, their whole family, when they talk, they be looking like they be about to cry, all of them. And Winnie was like, "Candy, you know that ain't right. Got these old women all the way down there. Everybody else up here. You got all these people who we don't know up here. You know that ain't right, Candy." And the kid was like, "Wow, Annie, I didn't know that it was an issue like that. Like, I'm so sorry about that. Like, okay, well, hey, y'all can move into Riley and Kayla's room." And Riley and Kayla was like, "No, I don't like that. Riley, I don't like this and I don't like that. And why is this way? And why is this that way? And all that." And it's just like, go. So they basically, Don Juan and Karma, they decided to let the mamas get their room. It's closer to everybody else, and all that stuff. I don't think it was as many steps and all that moments. Um, let's see what else. Um, the aunties had a talk with Candy and Mama Joyce, and they was like, Aunt Brother them was just like, "You know what, Candy? When you don't come, it hurts my feelings." And Candy was like, "Yeah, I understand." And Mama Joyce, "Well, I just feel like they should just be excited that they here on this trip. I wouldn't invited them nowhere." And, just a mess. And, she was like, "Why you don't call your own mama?" Candace started crying. "Well, mama, that it's been strained since Todd and I got together and all this." And then Pork and Winnie's was like, "Well, we gonna always be here for you. You know, Todd ain't gonna always be here for you. That's your husband. We your family too." Basically saying that, if y'all break up, then we gonna be here for you because we your family. Kendall was like, "Well, y'all know that ain't right." So anyway, on this recent episode that just passed the Sunday, they decided to go on different. Um, they decided to split up. And so it's this new assistant that Candace done brought along. I think his name is John or David or something. This cute little white boy, and he's really outdoing himself. He's bringing. He has packs of just, he has healthy. He has notebook paper. He has pencils and all this shit. All the things that common don't have. And Carmen is Candy's assistant. I didn't know she was Candy's assistant for some reason. I knew she helped out, but I didn't know that was her job as the assistant. But Don Juan is like her creative director or something, or over her events or whatever. Um, and so it was just like, okay. So they went off into different spots, everybody. The guys, which was Todd's uncle and Todd's brother and Todd, they went off drinking somewhere. And while David, he had the old lady gang, Mama Joyce, Aunt Nora, and Aunt Bertha, and also Todd's aunt. And then it was the other folks, Candy and Todd, and Riley and Kayla, and who else? Somebody else. Anyway, they went skiing and all that, and Carmen and Don Juan, and they went skiing and they actually had fun. And this whole time it's just been some shit that's been festering because they was like, okay, David is doing his job. David is doing everything he's supposed to do. You guys help me out if his name is not David. But I just think his name is David for some reason. um, and they was just like, Carmen, you're not doing your job and all this. And so they got down to the dinner table and they started to talk. And basically, Carmen and Don Juan was throwing shade at David because while they was eating barbecue, David, I think they was eating like ribs or something. David pulled out this little tool that they can use to get the food out of their teeth. And they was just, kind of throwing shade or whatever. And Riley was like, you know what? This is just ridiculous because it's like they're being sarcastic. Basically, they're making jokes and stuff about him when he's just doing his job. When you are his assistant, talking about Carmen, when you are his assistant and you're just hating because he's doing your job better than you. And Carmen was like, "Oh," and of course Joyce loved that. I agree with what Raleigh said. And so Carmen and Don Juan had to explain themselves and all that. So they get back to the hotel room. Carmen and Don Juan, they sitting there talking, and Candy comes in, and Candy, it's instantly turn up time. Basically, Carmen don't do her job. They just feel like she's along for the ride. She gets away with a lot of things because she's Candy's best friend. Um, Candy brought out a lot of stuff that her and Don Juan talked about, and Don Juan actually agreed that Carmen don't do her job the best of her abilities, and she do kind of let it slide and stuff. And I just felt like it was a little inappropriate for how it was handled, like how it had to come out that way. Candy should have talked to Carmen on off to the side instead of like embarrassing Carmen. They seem to like really do a good job at embarrassing Carmen and putting Carmen on the spot, and Carmen just being the worst situations. Poor Carmen. But Carmen looks absolutely gorgeous in her confessionals. Carmen is snatched, okay? Or as Mama Joyce would say, Karma. And Pork and Winnie's, Candy's cousin, and little Todd, they had got into it. At one point they was talking, and what did they get into it about? Basically, Todd had an issue with the fact that they had an issue with where the aunts was placed, their hotel rooms and all that, walking up all those steps in ice and all that. And Todd basically, felt like they should just be thankful for whatever they got, whatever room they got, and because they chose the room for them, and they should be thankful that they're even on the trip. Which I agree with that, but I also agree with Perk and Winnie's and the two aunts. Because, these are older folks and you got them slipping and sliding and shit like Trina and Trick Daddy, up and down the ice, just going to eat and stuff. That's no. I wouldn't even want to be that far off and it's ice all out, and and I'm clumsy as hell. And these are older folks. So, if something breaks, it's gonna take forever to heal. So I completely understand that. But Winnie let Todd know, if you hurt my little sister, it's on. Cause you don't want nail day of Winnie. And Candy's just sitting there it's sitting there grinning and shit. Todd just feels like they overstep their bounds and all that, in which they do. But some families are just very close knit like that and nosy and all up in, the business. And it is what it is. So yeah. Um, Next episode of Candy's ski trip comes on next Sunday, and next Sunday is when it's gonna get good, because Candy had mentioned to Carmen that she should have a talk with Mama Joyce, just like Mama Joyce had a talk with Todd. They didn't really talk. Mama Joyce still on that shit, obviously. But Carmen was like, "This is not a this is not a good idea. Not with my shocker hair in." But I don't know. But if she get into a fight with Mama Joyce, she already got her bad hair in, so it'll work. Just don't use just don't wear the good hair that you got in your confessionals, Carmen. But wear the hair that you wore this whole last episode, that brown curly Solange monstrosity from the Bring It On All or Nothing. Terrible. So if you're gonna get into a fight, make sure you have that hair on for sure. Um and they're gonna talk, and Carmen and Mama Joyce is gonna get into it. Carmen still thinks that Mama Joyce still thinks that Carmen and Todd done messed around a few times or something done went down. Like, I can't wait till next Sunday. Until then, I am Mr. Chala. I'm Mr. Chilaki Google Plus. Follow me at It's King's World on Twitter, at It's King's World on Instagram, and Chase King was here on Facebook. I love you guys to pieces, darling. I will see you guys soon for Candy's ski trip, and I also got to do my Braxton's review and all that. And I've also been watching the Prancing Elites. I actually like that show. It's very interesting. It's God. Yes, God. Alrighty. You guys tell me what you think and all that, and I'm gonna go. So, bye bye.